So guys, welcome back to another episode of Juice Made TV. And I ain't gonna lie, bro, we have a very spicy, touchy trigger video that we're gonna be talking about today, guys. So if you were to ask just any NBA scout, if you were to ask just any average basketball fan, anybody who's pretty much been keeping up with Bronny over the past few years, if you were to ask any of those people, how would they describe this man Bronny James's game? You're most likely gonna hear the phrases that Bronny James plays the right way. He's a team player. He knows his role. He's not going to do too much. He doesn't really make mistakes out there on the floor. He's a prolific defender. Those are just a lot of phrases and a lot of descriptions of just how people usually describe this man, Bronny James. Now, as you guys know, Bronny James is currently a freshman in college right now. He's currently playing at USC. We know the history of what he's pretty much been going through so far this season. First and foremost, we are glad that he's okay out there playing on the court. But like I said, so far, Bronny James has played in a few games for USC. And right now you can see that he's averaging about 5 points, 2.8 rebounds, 1 assist on 40% shooting from the field, and 33% from three. Now, Bronny James is also projected right now, even despite the numbers that I just said, and also his play during the season, Bronny James right now is projected to be a mid to first round pick in the 2024 NBA draft. Now, you watching this video, yes, I'm talking to you. Serious, genuine question. What in the who does playing the right way, like what does that really mean? What does that entail when we talk about a player? What does that entail when we talk about this man Bronny James? Because I feel like I've always wondered, like, what exactly does that mean? And I've always just wondered, do people genuinely truly believe that Bronny James does in fact play the right way, or are they just saying these comments about his game just because he is LeBron James's son? Guys, like I said, bro, this one's gonna be a pretty touchy, spicy video. So we're close to 30K, man. Hit that subscribe button and let's get on to this video. But yeah, like I said, guys, genuine question. If this man Bronny James, LeBron James Jr., was not the son of LeBron James himself, with Bronny averaging about 5 points a game on a struggling USC team, playing limited minutes, would we really be saying that Bronny James is playing the right way? Would we really be saying that a player of that magnitude is going to be a projected lottery pick in the first round in pretty much any draft? Would we be saying that LeBron James was right whenever LeBron James himself said that Bronny is better than a lot of the NBA players right now? Like, guys, generally, would we be even paying attention to Bronny James himself if he didn't have James attached to his last name and if he was the son of LeBron James? Would we be even making a video right now about how good or bad Bronny James is playing? These are genuine questions that I really ask myself, and I feel like these are thoughts that I know a lot of people out there really have, but let's be honest, they are kind of scared to say that because, you know, obviously he's the son of LeBron James, but it's just kind of crazy because you guys know it's the year of 2024, bro. Everybody and their mama is sensitive. It's crazy how you can get canceled by asking just simple questions, but like I said, bro, it's okay. It's literally just the question. These are just questions that I know a lot of people have on their mind, and I know this really is a touchy subject, and I know I've seen people talking about this on numerous occasions, and this is just barbershop talk at the end of the day. But generally, I really don't think in the history of basketball, I really don't think there's ever been a harder player to really evaluate than this man Bronny James himself. I mean, you guys know we've seen many great players out there. We essentially judge them for, you know, who they are, and I really feel like most people judge Bronny James based on the fact that he's LeBron James's son, not Bronny James the actual player. But one thing that I will say about this man Bronny is that he really is a guy where stats is not going to tell you the entire story of how good or bad he is as an overall player. And I feel like he's just a guy that you just have to watch with your own two eyes in a real game setting to really understand just how good or bad he is as an overall player. With Bronny James, you really can't sit there and watch highlights or read the headlines that he did XYZ or he had a crazy impactful dunk. You can't really look at the stat sheets and see that he dropped 5 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. You can't just look at that and just give your overall opinions on Bronny James. But if you guys want me to be honest, generally, I've been keeping up with Bronny, as you know, for the past few years, and I'm really not surprised just how he's playing, the numbers that he typically puts up, because this really has been the style of play for Bronny ever since we started covering him back in middle school. Bronny James has never been a player that is going to fill up the stat sheet, whether it's points or rebounds or assists or steals, whatever it may be. And generally, I really don't think I've ever seen Bronny James even score 30 or more points in the game. He might have did it maybe like 1 or 2 times in AAU. Don't quote me on that, but I don't think that I've ever seen just Bronny James score like 30 points in a game. But if you really know Bronny James, he's a guy that is gonna drop, you know, somewhere between 3 to 9 points a game, maybe hit 2 or 3 threes in a game. He's gonna showcase his defensive ability. He's not really gonna take a defender off the dribble. He's not really the best shot creator or even playmaker as well. And he's gonna at least try to get 1 chase down block a game. Man, I'm trying to tell you guys, it's super hard to really evaluate this man Bronny James as an overall player, because whenever you do hear that description of him quote unquote being a 3-and-D player, people fail to mention the fact that Bronny James, he's actually a 6'2" prospect. He's not 6'5", 6'7", 6'9". Like when you think of a 3-and-D type of player or a prospect, those guys typically are in that height frame. They're usually 6'6", 6'8", 6'9". They can shoot the ball and they're also great defenders. Bronny James can definitely do both of those things, but it's the fact that he's 6'1", 6'2", you know, at the end of the day. But when you really get a depiction of the type of player that Bronny James is, despite him being the son of LeBron, I promise most people are really not going to say that that type of player screams lottery type of talent. I mean, even if you were to go down the list of all the projected players to go into the lottery according to NBA DraftNet in this specific year's draft, you know, these guys are all relatively dominant players. They all play with some sort of assertiveness, and they essentially impact the game in some sort of way, and they are going to be making their presence known in the game in some type of fashion. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that with Bronny James you don't feel the presence of him being in the game, because you definitely do, but I feel like you feel the presence of Bronny James being in the game mainly due to the fact that, you know, he is Bronny and he is LeBron James' son, not because he's making a huge impact within the game. And I think that could be a problem in some sort of way. I mean, like I said, you can go down the list. Like with Isaiah Kohler, you can kind of feel that he's in the game. He's making plays. He's attacking the rim. He's attacking the basket. He's shooting threes. Even Boogie Ellis, he's shooting threes from 30 feet deep. He has a great mid-range game. Even his bigs, Kobe Johnson, like you can kind of feel that they're in the game. But when Bronny James is in the game, at least to me, it doesn't really look like he's really engaged and his presence is felt on the court by making plays. I mean, you guys know, if you've been keeping up with my channel for quite some time, you guys know I've been saying this since day one, bro. I just feel like he's just way too passive sometimes, and it just kind of makes me mad just because this kid right here, Bronny, bro, the talent is there. He has unlimited talent. I genuinely believe that he can be a player that can dominate, and I think that he can play with some sort of assertiveness. He's a guy that can take much more shots. He can attack the basket. He can get to the free throw line. He's athletic. You can feel his presence on the defensive end. And I really wish that people could understand, or Bronny James himself can understand, that just because you shoot over 10 shots in a game, it doesn't mean that you're not a team player. I feel like people kind of have that misconception mixed up. And that's the thing too, like if Bronny James was just much more aggressive, if he were to take at least 9 to 12 shots a game generally, bro, I really do think that this USC team would be a whole lot better. And you can kind of evaluate Bronny James in a different light as far as an overall player, and you can really get a depiction on the type of player of how good or bad that he is. But due to the fact that we just don't really see much from Bronny, and people kind of want to go back to the fact that he's not really forcing things or he plays the game the right way, it's just really hard to judge Bronny as a player and how well he will be successful in the NBA. I mean, me personally, when I think of this man Bronny James in the NBA and what type of role that he would be playing in the league, like I said, people always mention the fact that he's a 3-and-D type of player, but like I just mentioned, bro, Bronny James is 6'2" at the end of the day, bro. He's not 6'8", he's not 6'7". Bronny is supposed to be a point guard. That's what he's going to be playing in the NBA. And when you watch Bronny James, Bronny really plays off the ball most of the time. And like I said, he's not really a shot creator. He's not really the best playmaker. But I really don't know how he's going to be a 3-and-D type of player in the league. And I know people are going to mention that he always makes the right pass. He's a great prolific defender, at least from a guard perspective. Generally, bro, most of the time, those type of players just don't get significant minutes in the league. If you really think about all the players that are on the court at any specific moment in time in an NBA setting, each of those guys have a specific role and are making a significant impact in the game in some sort of way. They're not just out there just to make that extra pass. They're making their presence felt in some sort of fashion. So because I've just never seen Bronny James just say, hey, give me the ball, let me go score, or do this or X, Y, Z, it's just going to be super hard for me to just see how Bronny James is going to translate, you know, to the NBA and be a significant player. I'm telling you, bro, generally, I really do think that Bronny James is going to be a player that's going to start off somewhere in the NBA G League until he becomes a lot more assertive. And generally, bro, I really do think that's actually going to serve him right. And I think that's going to help him from an overall perspective. And it really could lower the expectations, you know, for Bronny. But regardless, I mean, I do think Bronny James can definitely play in the NBA. I know there's questions about if Bronny James should come back for a second season. I know LeBron said that whatever team Bronny James gets drafted to in this upcoming draft, he's probably going to go to that team as well. Man, there's really a lot of pressure on Bronny, and I feel like people don't really understand that. But I really wanted to make this video to really give you guys a better depiction of Bronny James as an overall player, the real Bronny James, not LeBron James' son, the human, the player, the guy, the GOAT, this man Bronny James. I wanted to make this video to give you guys a better depiction of that. So let me know if you guys agree with a lot of things I said. Let me know if you guys disagree with a lot of things I said. I really want to emphasize that this is not me coming at Bronny James. This is just me trying to give you guys a better depiction of who he is as a person and as a player, so you guys aren't just coming 2 years later, 3 years later, saying that he's trash, because I feel like people are doing the same thing with Bryce James right now. I'll probably make another video for that as well. But let me know what you guys think about Bronny James as a whole, and I'll see you guys in the next one.